Hi, good evening. That's kind of close. My name is Denise. I am a health freedom activist in California, and I'm going to be joined today with Stephanie. She is the founder of Informed Choice or Informed Parents of California, and all of my videos will be backed up to my YouTube channel called The Informed Mama. So what we're going to talk about is the new curriculum that was adopted by the California Department of Education. There she is, hold on. Each school district is responsible for adopting this. So let me see if Facebook is going to let me, there we go, add invitation. And we're going to talk to her, and she has all the goods on what this bill is and how it affects your children in California. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming on. I'm going to wait to see if we have any echoes or anything going on. So whoever's watching, could you please do a mic check for us? And Stephanie, if you want to talk to see if we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's like my downtime. The kids are away.
I had to hide in
some
my
quiet
garage.
I'm hiding outside in the backyard.
Well, thank you for doing this. I know you're a super busy mom, and I appreciate the time you're going to take to tell parents of California what exactly is happening within our school system.
Yes, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it because we need to get this word out to as many people. We need everybody in California to know. We need all the parents, all the families, everybody to know what is going on in California because it's affecting all of our children.
That's very true. It affects, I mean, from kindergarten all the way up to high school. So it's
TK, as young as TK.
That's crazy. So why don't you give a little bit of information on who you are and some background, and then we'll get into what this curriculum is.
Okay. So I'm Stephanie. I'm the founder of Informed Parents of California. And last year was when I started the group. And the reason I started the group is for the last few years, my pastor has been telling us to beware of the new sex ed that was coming out. He told us about AB 329, but he couldn't show us anything, even though he wanted to, but it's so graphic that he couldn't show it at church. And so I would go home and I would look for stuff, and I couldn't figure out how to find this sex ed stuff. And then finally last year, things started leaking out, and I had already been hearing about things like the Teen Vogue magazine. Did you hear about Teen Vogue?
I did not.
I think it was like a year or two ago now, where they had Teen Vogue's audience is 13 to 17-year-old girls. And they had anal sex 101 for them. And they didn't even have condom use in it. And they once people found out about it, they actually edited the article and put that in there. But so the activist mommy, I'm not sure if you heard about the activist mommy. Yeah. She had this whole go get the Teen Vogue magazines and burn them and get them off the shelves. And so I went around my city, and I started going in all the grocery stores. I went into the library. I did find it in the library. And so that's kind of how I got started, is that I just had it so heavy on my heart. Like I couldn't handle what was going on anymore. I could see just the escalation of where things were going. And I would share posts, and it was like nobody seemed to react to anything. Nobody would comment. And I'm like, what is going on? Do they not care about what's going on with our children? Because the stuff that I'm sharing is very concerning. Or they think I'm just some wacko now. And so my husband said, why don't, yeah, right? And my husband said, why don't you start a group? I'm like, a group? Like, why? I thought it was like a silly idea, but that was silly of me to think that, because it was obviously the best idea. I think we hit past 20,000 already. And so I started the group. I put 147 of my friends and family in there. And then the activist mommy, once again, she had a sex ed sit out last year. It was internationally. It was really started, I believe, in the Midwest, but then across California, Canada, and some other countries caught wind of it. And there were like small areas where they would do it. And I wanted to do Brea so bad. I wanted to put Brea on the map, but I was so scared to take that step. But I made flyers, and I was passing out flyers telling everybody about it. And then finally I saw that Garden Grove was on the map, and I was like, I am going, because Garden Grove's just a few cities away from me. And so I went, and I told myself, I'm going to ask that mom if she wants to get together and figure out how can we get the word out. So I met her. We started going to board meetings. And at our first Orange County Department of Ed board meeting, we met a ton of people there, a ton of parents, and we met some pastors and some grandparents and lawyers, and we just met a bunch of people, and we started networking. And then finally, after a while, we really started building a team. And my vision was to inform, equip, and activate parents, community members, and faith leaders in every single school district in all of California. And it sounds completely like insane.
No, it's not at
but
all.
it's not. And I believe that God is so big, and that I know he can do the impossible. So that's what I stood on. And so I haven't counted recently, but as the beginning of the year, we had 14 counties where we have parents activated in. And in Orange County alone, we have over 75% of all the school districts covered. And the school districts we don't have covered are the elementary schools. So when we first started, everything was AB 329, which means that comprehensive sexual education is mandatory once in junior high, once in high school, but they can teach it at any other grade K through 12, depending on whether a school district wants to. So we were really focused on junior high and high school, because the elementary school parents felt like they're safe. But now with the new framework, it's going all the way down to TK. So you better believe, but before October, before the beginning of the school year starts, we will have all those districts covered.
Okay, so let's talk about what AB 329 is, so that way people who are new, because we have a lot of parents who have absolutely no idea what just happened. They have no idea what's going on right now. And the schools count on busy parents. They count on parents to have to work and to not be able to contact the school district, because a lot of us trust our schools, right? We think they would never teach our children this. And it's a lot of parents who are new. So let's go from step one. What is AB 329? And let's start at the kindergarten level, because that's a real big concern for our parents.
Okay, so AB 329 is the law it's the California Healthy Youth Act, and it's mandating that comprehensive sexuality education, not sex ed, but sexuality education, is to be taught once in junior high and once in high school. However, the law allows that it could be taught at any other grade K through 12. So Oceanside, they started in kindergarten. So the Oceanside parents over there have been fighting for 3 years now, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. San Diego parents, the same thing. I think they started in 4th or 5th grade, and they've been fighting for a long time. And so in the Oceanside, they were doing it as young as kindergarten, and now the ACLU is back on them because they put it on hold, the K through 6th grade on hold, and to redo the curriculum. But now the ACLU is on them, and so they're saying we're going to do the K through 12 again. So, we don't know what schools are going to teach it. Mm-hmm. And so we're not getting a lot of transparency or honesty. We're getting the runaround when we call school districts. So it's really hard to tell. So somebody has to be very diligent you have to set aside at least an hour for one school district to call. Minimum is my time that I've spent on the phone to get information. So, and then AB 329, it says it has to be medically accurate, age appropriate, non-biased. There's supposed to be no religious views, but that one, it gets a thumbs up because there's no religion in it. Mm-hmm. But it's not medically accurate. It's not age appropriate, and it's extremely biased. It's supposed to, you have to teach consent, how to give and receive consent. So in the law, it actually says negotiation skills. So what are we talking about? Negotiation skills for child sex. It's all under the disguise of so they don't get molested, things like that. They don't get sexually assaulted. But that's when children are not legally allowed to consent to any sex. They're not supposed to be having sex legally. So for my child to say, no, you can't touch my body versus let me negotiate with you on whether you can touch what parts of my body or not.
No.
You know, there's a big difference. So let me ask you, why would you think that they want to teach our children how to give and receive consent as young as TK possibly?
If you're going to ask me, I really feel this curriculum is a grooming session. It's not sex ed. It's not about consent. So that's the conspiracy in me. But what,
Yeah.
from your point of view, why do you think they're teaching that this young?
Well, if you teach children how to give and receive consent, then you can lower the consent laws or you can eliminate consent laws, right? It's definitely a grooming process. They have the ACLU written into the framework, and now the ACLU, one of their clients is NAMBLA. Are you familiar with NAMBLA?
I am familiar.
So just in case anybody else isn't, it's North America Man Boy Love Association. So they represent them. And now they have been ACLU has been written. Not only has the ACLU written the framework, they have written themselves inside the framework. So if you go on chapter 6 on the framework, that's high school, 9th through 12th grade, it will say partnering with the community. And for our kids to partner with the ACLU to discuss laws regarding sexual involvement with minors. So they're supposed to discuss laws regarding sexual involvement with minors with the people who represent pedophiles. And then we're supposed to teach them negotiation skills for child sex.
This is, and you know, people think that when I say things like this is a grooming, this is not part of an LGBT community, because the LGBT community does not condone pedophiles, but it has been infiltrated by people who do condone pedophilia and who are trying to mainstream it. And so when you allow your children to be groomed into such a way, they're not teaching sex behavior. So are there chapters in that book that they talk about different genders, or they talk about anal sex, or they talk about any of these things that we feel is not appropriate for schools?
Yes. So so we have AB 329, which is the law, okay? Mm-hmm. And so there's certain things that you have to do. You have to positively affirm sexual orientation and gender identity. So that means you can't say anything contrary. So, and then and it's in the law, it says that they're supposed to discuss the negative, harmful stereotypes of sexual orientation and gender identity. So if I believe that a biological boy is a boy and a biological girl is a girl, they're teaching my child that your mom has a harmful negative stereotype. So it's putting the kids against the parents.
It's breaking up the family unit.
Yes. Yes. Yep. So that's one thing. And then also for people who have different moral values and faith, they would be telling them you have a harmful negative stereotype. And in the framework, it constantly says challenge, challenge, challenge. So they're supposed to challenge these norms and challenge all of these things with kids as young as TK. So we have the law, and now we have the curriculums like Teen Talk, Rights, Respect, Responsibility, Positive Prevention Plus, Be Real, Be Ready, Apex, Flash. There's one more, and I forgot what it's called. Those are the comprehensive sexual education curriculums. A lot of them are written by Planned Parenthood and the ACLU and their affiliates, of course, right? Of course. And so those curriculums actually break the law. So when we go to school board meetings, they were saying, you got to take this back up to the Capitol because this is law. AB 320 is law and we can't do anything about it. And we're like, well, yes, it is law and we'll take it up there, which we have been, right? But you are choosing curriculums that actually break the law because they're medically inaccurate, they're not age appropriate, and they're very biased among many other things. It's not scientific based or anything. So we have the comprehensive sexual education curriculums, which break the law. Now we have the framework, which is a guidelines for the schools and the teachers and the textbook companies to write curriculums or their textbooks. It's a guide for teachers to go to and say, what can I teach on these things? Mm-hmm. And so they can take from that. So I will show you some books. We'll start at in chapter 3 of the framework, which is TK through 3rd grade. They start introducing some of these books. Now these ones that I have, these ones don't have the gender so much in it, but I'm just going to let you know they're explicit. So I'm going to show you some explicit books. The boys and girls are supposed to be together because they said if you split up the boys and girls, not only is it not inclusive, it is also going to create anxiety and fear and distrust. So,
oh,
boys and girls together. This one is.
what?
Yes.
For TK? Or is that 3rd?
This is for kindergarten, but it's in the chapter TK through 3rd grade.
Wow.
Can you see me okay? Because it's getting a little dark.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
No, I can see you.
This is another one. Oh, that book was called Changing You, A Guide to Body Changes and Sexuality. So here's the cover. This is It's Not the Stork, a book about girls, boys, babies, bodies, families, and friends. So I had them all marked before, but I took out all the. So it has a lot, it's showing them how to go to the bathroom, which.
I think they know how to go to the bathroom by that age.
I know, right? So here it's pointing out all the different body parts of the boys and the girls. So they label all the body parts. They want to make sure that they know what a erect penis is.
No way.
And what circumcised and uncircumcised is. This one really gets me because this is child pornography right here. Child pornography. So they want to make sure that they know where their clitoris, their vulva, their vagina.
No. This is for, again, somebody just popped in and asked, it's for elementary, starting at kindergarten.
Yes. TK through 3rd grade. It specifies kindergarten, but they can take it at any other grade they want. And let me just go back a moment. Without AB 329, which is law, they were able to show all of this stuff for a very long time. So we're the first state in America to mandate comprehensive sexual education, also known as CSE, mandate by law. But all the other states are battling this because you can bring this stuff into the schools because the obscenity laws have been lifted in public schools and public libraries. So I don't know if I don't know when it was, maybe like 10 years ago, I heard how people were watching pornography in the public libraries and they wouldn't put filters on. And I was like, why won't they put filters on? Obscenity laws have been lifted.
No.
Yes.
Way.
Yes.
That's insane.
So
it takes a lot to shock me. It takes a lot to shock me. I've been seeing a lot of things and I've been doing this for quite some time. And this is absolutely insane. This is grooming. That's all it is. It's not education.
This is grooming. No. This one, I'm going to step away. I'm going to turn on my light real quick.
Okay. So guys, again, this is for kindergarten. You can find out by calling your school's district and asking if they've adopted the health curriculum, and also ask them if it's being taught in social studies and science. And go to your school's library to find out.
Sorry, it's a little too bright now. Okay, so this is 5th grade. This is in chapter 4 of the framework, which is 4th through 6th grade. So this is a picture that they're supposed to color.
Oh, okay.
I am going to wait before I start describing because my neighbors with the little kids are actually walking into their back door. But can you see it okay?
Yeah.
All right. So the teacher is supposed to hand out, these are 2 different sheets of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and they're supposed to hand them out, and they're supposed to have the children color it.
No.
Using your best kindergarten lady voice, I say, the penis itself has 2 parts, the shaft and the glans. Find the shaft of the penis and color it with blue and red stripes. Now everybody gets very intent on coloring. Some are still giggling, but they start coloring. Why don't you color the shaft in 2? Unless, of course, this book belongs to someone else or a library. One of the people we most admire is the librarian named Anne. So, okay, I'm just going to pass by that. It says, next, ask the class to find the small slit in the tip of the penis and circle it in red. And it goes on, okay? So then it goes into the vagina. But during this, and here's another picture in this book. This is the girls, remember?
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
a boy book and a girl book, but this is for girls, 5th grade girls, 9, 10-year-olds. While they're supposed to be doing this coloring activity, it says the best way to keep these words from disrupting the class is to bring them right out in the open. So while we're coloring, kids call out slang words and I list them on the blackboard. Here are some of them.
Okay. I can't read them. What do they say? Sorry.
This is the first time. So for the penis, I actually have not said these ones because I just feel like it's cock,
Wait a
dick.
minute. Let's stop right there. 5th grade?
5th grade.
5th grade.
5th grade.
Your children are being taught what to call a penis. Just call it a cock. What the fuck?
I mean, it goes on. Rocks, jewels, cubes, seeds, stones, hangers, bangers, things, cajones,
No.
balls, nuts. Tool. Okay, that's the testicles. Penis. Tool. Frankenfurter. I never heard that one before. Thing. Pecker. Dinky. Peony. I don't know what guy ever called that.
What the hell is happening in our school system?
Pisser. Here's another picture for our girls. Boys and girls book both have the same pictures. So erect and not erect penis.
Okay, so
And then they have the girls.
This is supposed to be medically correct, right? So they're supposed to have medical terms. So your children know what their autonomy is, right? They know what anatomy is. They know all of it. So like my children, they know penis and vagina because I want them to be able to tell me if something happens to them appropriately what happened to you. Instead, they're teaching slang words and they're treating our children like they're adults. I am mind blown right now.
So for the girls, Pussy.
No way.
I'm like uncomfortable saying these. Like
uncomfortable.
Cunt, and then muff, stuff, squim, box, beaver, honeypot, hole. I mean, it goes on. Snatch.
Oh my God. You guys,
I mean, it goes.
Be pissed off at this. This is inappropriate. This is pornography in our schools.
It is. Here's pictures of girls in different stages. So it has a little girl with no hair all the way to a woman with the different hair stages of growth. That is a pedophile's dream book right here.
Yeah.
This is child porn. It's pornography and then it's child pornography. There's some more. Okay, so now we're on the page for masturbation for 5th graders.
What?
Not everybody masturbates. Most of us do, though. People of all ages and both sexes masturbate. Some of us start masturbating when we're children and continue to do so all of our lives. I'm just skipping through some highlighted areas. You may have heard that masturbation will make you enjoy sex with another partner less. Also not true. But that's not true. Have you ever heard of Fight the New Drug? Masturbation is a way of practicing for your adult sex life. Some people masturbate every day. Some masturbate many times a day. Some people like to imagine things that excite them when they masturbate. Imagine or pretending that something is happening is called fantasizing. We fantasize about all sorts of things. We're not even talking about people. Almost everyone has fantasies about sex. These fantasies can help us to better know our sexual life, ourself. So our advice is to relax and enjoy them. Having fantasies about sex and masturbation are against some people's religious or moral beliefs. However, personally, we think masturbation is good for you. In fact, most experts agree that masturbation is healthy, normal, and good for you.
So who wrote this book?
Linda Menderes and Aria Menderes, which is her daughter. And Linda, it was a teacher for 25 years. I would be very concerned having a teacher like this in my classroom. Then it goes on to the G-spot.
No.
And it goes in about the G-spot. This one, so it has pictures to show you how to insert a tampon. And then it says, because we're talking about 5th grade girls, right, which really shouldn't be wearing tampons to begin with, but it tells you if you're having trouble, actually get some KY jelly. So our 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds are supposed to go get KY jelly. If your hymen opening is too tight to allow for a tampon insertion, you can stretch it yourself. This should be done gently and slowly over many days or weeks. First, put some KY jelly on your fingers, and then it goes on.
No way. So okay.
And if we didn't get enough penises, I mean, it has, this is the girl's book. Douching, they bring in douching. So it tells you exactly how to douche. And then it says, the second paragraph, douching isn't really a good idea. And it tells you why. So why do you give the kids and the girls instructions how to lay in the bathtub and douche properly if it's not a good idea? I don't even think I've even heard about that until I was like an adult.
Yeah, that's not something girls need to be worrying about at this
I mean, it goes on. This one is really bad.
No way.
So there's a boy book to this, so it's the same thing. What's Happening to My Body, a book for boys. It actually has a penis with a measuring tape and brings in Alfred Kinsey. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who Alfred Kinsey is, but he was a zoologist that did these sex studies with sexual deviants. He was taking their sex history reports. He was going to prostitutes, to pedophiles, to sex offenders that were in prison. He was saying it was the common man. So a lot of the laws that we have right now have been changed because of his fraudulent work. So one of the things he has in his book, Sexuality of the Human Male, I'm not sure if I have the name right. You can find it. I think you can find it in your local library.
Wow.
But it has a chart of how many times in a 24-hour period these males were able to get an orgasm out of babies and toddlers and children as young as 5 months old on the chart. But in the book, there's a 2-month-old baby that's...
What?
Yes. So to find out really about who Alfred Kinsey is and where all of our sex information comes from, and our sex instructions, and these universities with these sex classes, sexual classes, it all comes from his fraudulent work. So it's called, you can find it on YouTube, called the Kinsey Syndrome. It's very, very hard to stomach, but you get a complete understanding of what he's done. You get firsthand interviews from men on his team. It's really hard to listen to because of the way that they describe when a grown man is raping a baby. And then they go into how he went around the country changing laws. Okay, the next book in the framework, which is chapter 12, it's chapter 6, 9 through 12th grade, which is high school. And I actually have it here. This one I do have kind of printed out because I did a video on it. So this is the framework page. So you see the chapter and stuff. So it says, partnering with your school. Students are encouraged to advocate for and support others by planning a school-wide awareness event on December 1st for World AIDS Day, Walk a Mile in Her Shoes, or Denim Day, or Take Back the Night. It goes on to say, promote a school-wide read featuring the book, Sex, the All You Need to Know Sexuality Guide to Get You Through Your Teens and 20s by Heather Carina. She is connected with Planned Parenthood, and she has a website called Scarlet Teen that is very disturbing, and you will see why I say disturbing. I'm going to read you some things out of here. So should I just go with the heavy hitters to start with?
Yeah, I mean, we're already, our minds are already blown at this point. I'm so.
They're not.
No, not even close.
So in here it says manual sex. And I was like, I know what that is, right? And it always says, what is it and how do you do it? This is all under let's prevent all of this stuff, but let me give you a how-to. Let me tell you what it is and how you do it, in case you didn't know. And then I flipped over to this page, and it says deeper manual sex. And I was like, what's deeper manual sex, right? I'm just going to read through it. I've heard about this act before. Not called this, but I'll tell you in a minute. I heard about this act before a couple years ago. I could not wrap my mind around how you actually do this, but because they're so diligent in telling you a how to step by step, I know how to do this now. Deeper manual sex, more involved, as it were, manual sex is called fisting.
No. What?
But that's not because you make a fist and try to put it into a vagina or an anus, which is unlikely to be anything but painful, if not impossible. Rather, this kind of manual sex involves starting with 1 or 2 gloved fingers and lube added as you go, and slowly working up to more, as it is, and only if it is, pleasurable for the receptive partner. If a whole hand is wanted by both partners, and 4 fingers feels good, the performing partner can then tuck his or her thumb into their palm or inside the fingers to make the whole hand as slim as possible, and then slide it upward. Once it's inside, the partner then can turn the hand back and forth, slowly opening up the fingers gently and rhythmically, and go up and down as it is comfortable for the partner. Fisting isn't that common, and the more fingers we're talking about, the less common it becomes. Fewer people will likely be interested in it, especially at the beginning of their sex lives. And more people are generally interested in vaginal fisting than anal fisting. I'm sorry, but I don't want somebody's fist there. I mean, do we even want the baby coming out of there?
Oh my God, I'm appalled that these are for children. This is in public school for children. Mind you, we have a lot of new people jumping on 9th through 12th grade. they are teaching your children how to fist in sex ed.
No, sexuality education.
Sexuality education.
Sexuality, yeah. It says that while both canals really can make room for that much inside, and it can feel good. I'm sorry, but medically accurate for when a penis is really isn't supposed to go up there. And there's a lot of dangers with anal sex to begin with, right? And we're talking about like a shaft, right? And it could cause tears. It could cause like where the lining of the anus is one cell thick, and it actually absorbs too. So you're more likely to get HIV or an STD because of that. That's one of the reasons why when they need to give you medication quickly to get into your system, they do like a rectal, I forget what they're called, because it sucks it up. Now, if there becomes a tear inside the anal wall and fecal matter goes into the body, it could kill you. And this is all about sexual health to keep our children safe.
If you don't think this is grooming for your kids, then you're not paying attention.
Suppository, yes.
It's disgusting that parents have to fight the school district because we as parents pay those taxes for the school district seats, and to even have to fight it this hard for 2 years. I think more people need to start waking up and getting involved with the school. This is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. As soon as parents find out about it and they see the proof, then that's when they join together.
Right.
But it's because they don't know. Or when they call the school district, say like for my school district, I'm not even going to get into my school district. But
so do the school districts actually tell you, like, do the schools tell you? So if I call, because I've called my school, they haven't got back to me. They're like, oh, we're not using this curriculum. So is it like pulling teeth trying to get the information, or do you have to keep hitting them?
So you need to learn how to talk to them. So one of the things, if you don't say the right words, I'm sorry, am I whited out?
No, you're fine.
Okay. If you don't say the right words, then they won't give you the information. So when I called my school district last year, because I had watched a video of Karen England, she's from Capital Resource, and she was going around giving comprehensive sexual education talks. And so I heard her say, it's called family life, it's called anti-bullying, it's called anti-suicide, it's called sex ed. I mean, so when I called, I said, I want all of these things and I laid them all out, because then they couldn't tell me no. And so you have to actually lay it out. Now we have some good words to say, because if you go in and you say, are you teaching this sex ed that they're talking about? They're like, no, we're not teaching it. Or are you adopting any new books or things like that? And they're like, oh no, we're not adopting anything. We're not purchasing anything new. We're not doing anything till 2020. That's a big one. We're not doing anything until 2020, because we're talking about the sex ed curriculum and they're talking about the framework. Two different things, right? And so once you realize what they're saying, then you can say, no, I'm not talking about the framework. I'm talking about, what are you using in the classroom right now to be AB3 compliant, that teaches about comprehensive sexual education, HIV, AIDS, STD prevention, pregnancy prevention, sexual orientation, and gender identity? What's being used in the classroom right now to teach that? With that, they can't really, they can't, I mean, they're, yeah, and they can lie to you, and we still get people lying to us, but it's, sorry, I gotta plug my phone in real quick. But they, okay, there we go. Sorry. So with that, I can get the curriculum names. There are some school districts where they told me, oh, if you go online and you go and look up the law AB 329 on there, to tell you what this school district is using. So it's supposed to tell me on the law what that school district and what curriculum they're using. There's 977 school districts, and not all 970 school districts and each curriculum that they're using are on the law. And if I was a parent that didn't know, I would have gone looking for that, going crazy, like, I can't find it. Am I looking at the right thing, right? They have sent me all over the place, and it was like I was so frustrated. And so I said, okay, I called up Michelle and I said, Michelle, I have had it with the school district. They're bouncing me all over the place. I mean, this lady told me, you need to call the high school. And I said, no, I'm calling the school district because that's where they make those decisions.
Right.
The curriculum director makes those decisions. So you know what's being taught. It's not every school chooses their own. And I said, so that's why I called you at the school district. And she's like, oh, I'm not at the school district. I'm at this school. The school she just told me to hang up and call. And I just had it. And it was like, so I called Michelle up and I said, Michelle, you got to call because I'm losing it here. She couldn't get it. Now, 6 months later, I got another mom who's actually going and she can't get it. And she asked a teacher to get it. He can't even get it because he was told, we don't give this out to the parents.
What? This?
Yes.
Okay, so on Wednesday, and this is happening this Wednesday, right? You guys are having
Yes.
stuff. Okay, so I'm saving that because I want you guys to understand what's happening. The school districts are not listening to you. The teachers are not working with you. You have complete tyranny all across the board.
Yeah.
So
I do have to say something about the teachers.
Yes.
So how is this stuff, besides the fact that obscenity laws are lifted, how is this stuff getting into our schools? The California Teachers Union are the ones funding it. They're funding these laws. They're bringing it in. They, if you go to a California Teachers Union conference, you would think, oh, it's for teachers, it's for educators. So we'll see Dr. Seuss books and all these academic books and booths with all of these things. The only thing that you see there are all their conferences are about sexual orientation and gender identity and how to get in the schools, how to get in the classrooms, and how to lie and deceive the parents. And that's what they're teaching the teachers. And if you don't go along with that, if you're a teacher, you get bullied, harassed, and threatened. And it's happening. The stuff that I hear from teachers is outrageous. So we need to come alongside of our teachers and really talk to them about what's going on. Let me see if I can.
So
there we go.
Somebody wanted to know. So Stephanie is founder of Informed Parents of California. That's a group. So you can join the group, and you have the curriculum up there, right? Like if somebody asks for it, can you send it?
I have the curriculum, so if they want to email me or private message me.
What's your email address?
It's informedparentsofca@gmail.com.
Okay. So email her if you want to know anything about the curriculum. So Wednesday, what are you doing?
So Wednesday, we are having a rally at the Capitol, and then we're going to go at 9 a.m., and then we're going to go across the street to the California Department of Ed, where they have their last round of public comment, in-person public comment at the board meeting on the framework, and then they will pass it. We already know they're going to pass it. They had public comment for people to review the whole 1,000-page document framework. And I'll say something about the framework. You had said something about it's overreaching into the families, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're so bold that in it, they call it the 8 overreaching themes.
They just tell you now.
They don't even care. They don't even care.
This is what we're doing.
I mean, we're so far at the end where they literally have our kids. It's just only a matter, if we don't stop this and if we don't rise up and have a parent revolution, they will take our kids, because they want social workers and in every single school, multiple on campus permanently, behavioral specialists, all kinds of, how many counselors, behavioral specialists, and social workers can you have on one campus, right?
Seriously.
They want it all on there. And they're actually having mental health clubs, mental health facilities on campuses, mental health clubs where students run and lead these clubs. Like, what? They have no ability to guide anybody on mental health. So how do they have students have these mental health clubs? They are doing mindful meditation, which there's a lot of studies where they used to do this for counseling, but they realized people were actually going into a psychosis by doing some of this mindful meditation, that they stopped it in counseling sessions, but now they're introducing this in the classroom with our children without us knowing about it. I actually found a video of a school or a county in the schools that have been doing it for a while, and they video recorded the kids. So they the rally, so we're going to go over there. They had first public comment where you can review the whole framework. The first round was last summer. We had over 500, and that's when we had just started. I mean, the group started in April and it took off in May. We had over 500 people public comment that. The second round was from November to January. We had over 2,000 people public comment. And then in March or January, we actually went to the Capitol and we had our rally, and then we were going to go over in public comment. And what was funny is that one of the CDE workers, California Department of Ed workers, comes up to me right before our rally starts, and they had our flyer in their hand printed out. We never printed out flyers, right? They had their flyer printed out, and they came up to us and said, actually, you need to get over to public comment right now, because they're going to open it up right now, and you need to go over there. And they were trying to get us to stop our rally. And we said, okay, we'll go.
Oh, you're breaking up. She's completely frozen. Well, if you guys did not hear, oh, there you are. Okay. So real quick, I have a question for you. Have you heard of the connection between this bill and Common Sense Kids Action Media? Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay. So as I had a friend of mine ask me. So rally Wednesday at 9 a.m. Sacramento Capitol. And then after that, public comment. So I wanted to do this video today so that way people can know, pull your kids out on Wednesday, let the schools know. I mean, we're not going to make a fiscal impact on the school with that day, but show them how many kids are going to get pulled out of school. Unfortunately, my battery's dying, so I have to wrap this up. But thank you very much for coming on. Stephanie with Informed Parents of California, go over to her group, and you know, she can answer all the questions that you need to know. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on and getting the word out, because we need to join across California. They're literally stripping our parental rights. And I know you're more with the medical, and children are being told that they can leave school for confidential medical services and leave campus, get surgical and chemical abortions without the parents ever knowing about it. They can get contraceptions, they can get mental health counseling, things like that, and it's very dangerous. So they're stripping our rights all over the place. So
and you said it's time for parental revolution. Stand up, because they want your babies, and we're not going to do it anymore. So thank you so much, and we will touch bases again on Wednesday. I'll be out at your rally.
Yes. You'll come say hi to me.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much for your time. All right, guys, I got to go to my phone, guys. All right, bye.
Okay, bye.